It's official. Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon are coming to Pokemon Go. If you haven't heard the news, this game-changing update was revealed in a recent Pokemon Go trailer. If you want the full breakdown, my last video explains it all. Anyways, the introduction of Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon changes the landscape of Pokemon Go. It adds a whole new feature, new Pokemon, new variants, hopefully new points of interest to explore, and so much more. But we're all wondering, what are going to be the best Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon in the game? Well, remember, there's only certain Pokemon that can Gigantamax, and they all get special moves and special effects, so we'll get to that later. But every single Pokemon can Dynamax, so your top Dynamax Pokemon are just going to be your typical top Pokemon in Pokemon Go. So real quick, let's go through the top Pokemon of each type, but I'm not going to be including Shadows, Megas, or form changes because we don't know if they're going to be able to Dynamax or Gigantamax. Probably not. So one more time, these are the top Pokemon that will be able to Dynamax of each type. No Shadows, no Megas. For normal types, Regigigas. For fighting types, Terrakion. For flying types, Rayquaza. For poison types, Nihilego. For ground types, Therian form Landorus. For rock types, Rampardos. For bug types, Pheromosa. For ghost types, Blacephalon. For steel types, Metagross. For fire types, Reshiram. For water types, Kyogre. For grass types, Kartana. For electric types, Xurkitree. For psychic types, Mewtwo. For ice types, Kyurem. For dragon types, Rayquaza. For dark types, Hydreigon. And for fairy types, Tapu Lele. Those are all the top Pokemon of each type in terms of damage per second, again, at their base form. So we'll see if that translates to Dynamax. I'm sure it will. It's going to be a lot of the same typical Pokemon that we use in raids. Now let's talk Gigantamax Pokemon. Remember how I mentioned that Gmax Pokemon have special moves and special effects? Well, every single Gmax Pokemon has its own unique Gmax move and its own unique Gmax effect. So let's go through all of the Gigantamax Pokemon, each move, each effect, and see how and if it can translate to Pokemon Go. The reason I say that is because these moves and effects are made for turn-based combat, which is a concept we don't have in Pokemon Go. So let's run through them and see how and if it could work. Gigantamax Venusaur has the max move, Gmax Vinelash, and that has an effect which inflicts damage for 4 turns on non-grass type Pokemon. Honestly, this effect could be in Pokemon Go. It could just inflict like a small amount of damage for a certain amount of time if you're not using a grass type Pokemon. Gmax Charizard has the move Gmax Wildfire, and its effect inflicts damage for 4 turns on non-fire type Pokemon. And just like Venusaur, this could totally work if you're not using a fire type, you'll just take some damage. Gmax Blastoise has the move Gmax Cannonade, and its effect inflicts damage for 4 turns on non-water type Pokemon. And just like the previous two, this could for sure work if you're not using a water type Pokemon, and you'll either take damage over a certain amount of time, or maybe the move's just gonna hurt a little more. Gmax Butterfree has the move Gmax Befuddle, and that inflicts poison, paralysis, or sleep on all opponents. This is interesting. We don't have statuses in Pokemon Go, so no poison, no paralysis, no sleep. I mean, there's a world where they can introduce statuses and like it takes longer to charge a move up, or you hit the move slower, or the move does less damage. You know, there's a couple things there. Gmax Pikachu has the move Gmax Volt Crash, and its effect paralyzes all opponents. Again, there's no status in Pokemon Go, so paralysis, unless it was just like you can't attack for a little bit or it takes a lot longer, not sure. Gmax Meowth has the move Gmax Gold Rush, and its effect is to scatter coins on the ground that are picked up afterwards and confuses all opponents. We don't have the confusion status in Pokemon Go, but I do feel like it's an easy thing to incorporate. I don't know, maybe you hit yourself on accident sometimes, that'd be cool. Gmax Machamp has the move Gmax Chai Strike, and that pumps up the user and its allies, raising the chance of critical hits by 1 stage. We don't have critical hits in Pokemon Go, but maybe they can add it, and your move can just do extra damage if you get lucky. Gmax Gengar has the move Gmax Terror, and its effect prevents the opponent from being recalled. I can't think of anything for this effect. Maybe you can't swap Pokemon or something. Gmax Kingler has the move Gmax Foam Burst, and its effect lowers the speeds of all opponents by 2 stages. We don't really have a speed status in Pokemon Go, so maybe you have to like wait to use a move, or maybe your move is going to take longer to charge up. Maybe that's how they introduce speed. Gmax Lapras has the move Gmax Resonance, and its effect lowers damage from both physical and special moves for 5 turns. The concept of physical and special moves aren't really a thing in Go just yet, but it kind of is. I mean, some moves are physical, some moves are not. They would just have to explain that and introduce that, so it's possible. Gmax Eevee has the move Gmax Cuddle, and its effect makes all Pokemon of the opposite gender become infatuated. We don't really have the whole love infatuation status yet either, so I don't know what this would do. It'd probably make your move hurt a little bit less if your Pokemon is of the opposite gender. That could work. Gmax Snorlax has the move Gmax Replenish, and its effect is a 50% chance chance of restoring the user or ally's berries. We don't have hold items in the game yet or the ability to use a berry mid-match, so not sure. Gmax Garbodor has the move Gmax Malodor, and its effect poisons all opponents. Again, we don't have the poison status, but maybe it'll work where you just like slowly over time start losing health. Gmax Melmetal has the move Gmax Meltdown, and its effects makes opponents incapable of using the same move twice in a row. This would be interesting. You can't use the same move twice, so once you use it once, you have to use your other move, and if you don't have another move, you might have to just charge it up twice or something. Gmax Rillaboom has the move Gmax Drum Solo, and its effect, moves can be used regardless of abilities. We don't have abilities in the game yet. I don't know how this would work. Gmax Cinderace has the move Gmax Fireball, and it actually has the same effect as Rillaboom, and just like Rillaboom, I don't know how this would work. Gmax Inteleon has Gmax Hydro Snipe, which again has the same effect. Just like the other two, I don't know how this would work. Gmax Corviknight has the move Gmax Wind Rage, and its effect removes the effects of moves like Reflect, Light Screen Spikes, and Terrain from the opponent's side of the field. We don't have effects in the game yet, so I'm not really sure how this effect would work. Gmax Orbeetle has the move Gmax Gravitas, and that effect intensifies gravity for 5 turns. There's no gravity in Pokemon Go. I don't know how this works. Gmax Dreadnought has the move Gmax Stone Surge, and its effect creates Stealth Rock on the opponent's side of the field. There's nothing really like Stealth Rock in the game, so not sure about this one either. Gmax Colossal has the move Gmax Volcalith, and that inflicts damage for 4 turns on non-rock type opponents. This would work just like Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, where if you're not using a rock type Pokemon, you're gonna get some damage on you. Gmax Flapple has the move Gmax Tartness, and that lowers the evasion of all opponents by 1 stage. You can't really miss in Pokemon Go, so I don't know how this would work at the moment. Maybe something with shields. Gmax Appleton has the move Gmax Sweetness, and that cures the user and its allies of their status conditions. If and when they introduce status to Pokemon Go, this would be a really useful feature, so it's possible down the road. Gmax Sandaconda has the move Gmax Sand Blast, and that traps the target in a sand tomb for 4 to 5 turns. This could work similar to like a burn or a poison where you just start taking damage for a little bit. Maybe instead of 4 to 5 turns, it's like 4 to 5 seconds. Gmax Toxtricity has the move Gmax Stun Shock, and then inflicts poison or paralysis on all opponents. Again, for poison or paralysis, if you're poisoned, you take damage for a certain amount of time. If you're paralyzed, maybe your moves are slower or it takes longer to get there. Gmax Centiskorch has the move Gmax Centinferno that traps the target in Fire Spin for 4 to 5 turns. Fire Spin would just do damage over time. So again, instead of 4 to 5 turns, maybe it's 4 to 5 seconds. Gmax Hatterini has the move Gmax Smite, and that inflicts confusion on all opponents. Don't have confusion status yet, but there's a world where I could see us using moves and it's actually attacking ourselves. That could be cool. Gmax Grimmsnarl has the move Gmax Snooze, and then has a 50% chance of making the target drowsy. We don't have the sleeping condition. I don't know how that would work. Do you have to like shake your phone and wake your Pokemon up? I am not sure. Gmax Alcremie has the move Gmax Finale, and that heals the user and the allies by 1/6 of their max HP. This is interesting. I could see us healing Pokemon in battles. That definitely is a thing, and that should be here soon probably. Gmax Caparaja has the move Gmax Steel Surge, and that scatters sharp spikes around the field. I don't know about this effect. There's nothing really like that right now. Gmax Duraludon has the move Gmax Depletion, and that takes 2 PP away from the last move the target used. There's not really PP in Pokemon Go, but maybe the move will just take longer to get to. You know? And finally, Gmax Urshifu Single Strike version has the Gmax One Blow move, and its effect hits the target even if it is protected by a protection move. Now this is an interesting effect because maybe it'll make shields irrelevant. Like this Pokemon, when it uses this move, can just go through your shields. Kind of awesome. And the same thing for Gmax Urshifu Rapid Strike, where it has the move Gmax Rapid Flow, and again, hits the target even if it's protected. Just like the other form of Urshifu, it would just absolutely negate a shield being used, which is very interesting. That was a lot of Pokemon, a lot of moves, a lot of effects, but that's all you need to know. So whenever those Pokemon do come out, which I expect them to come out maybe once at a time, you'll have this video to reference, and we can learn about this stuff now because it's coming out very, very soon. I am absolutely stoked for Dynamax and Gmax Pokemon to be in the game. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon are. There's so many of them out there, and they're so awesome, and they're gonna be so good.